Good morning, everyone. I have a morning musing this morning on leadership in small companies because most of the work I do, most of the coaching and mentorship work that I do centers around business owners who have small companies. And by small companies, it could really be anywhere from 5 to 50, 60 people. Somewhere in there is what I'm calling a small company. And there's a challenge that comes up as I speak to people about potentially working with me and certainly with my clients that I see as like something that's pretty constant. And I want to share what I've seen with you because if this is a challenge that you have in your business, it's certainly something that you can remedy. And so I just want to pull that forward. So a lot of people in small companies, particularly in the realm of like traditional businesses that are delving into what I would call professional level services. So, meaning the business is addressing something that is a professional service, or the person owning the business has a professional level degree to get to do what they want to do. So these could be things like certainly physicians would fall into that category, but also people like engineering firms or commercial construction, um, commercial real estate, architecture, design, um, accountants, that sort of thing. So professional level services. I'm not really talking about service level, services like, I don't know, like consumer type services. Although this might apply, I don't know. I don't really have a lot of clients in that arena, but this is what we're talking about. So here's what I see is that someone gets really good at doing something, right? Like let's pretend it's an engineer. And this person like works their way up in the ranks after, graduating from school to become an engineer, and then they get to be a professional engineer, and they work for a firm and maybe a couple and work their way up and potentially could even be a principal in the firm. And then they decide like for freedom, for life satisfaction, life fulfillment, they want to go and have their own firm, and they've become so good at what they do, right? And again, this could be engineer, could be architecture, design. That's a lot of people I work with, commercial real estate for sure, high level consulting, that sort of thing. So the person is really great at what they deliver. Okay. And so they decide, I'm going to go and start my own firm because I could do this. And they're right, because they know the ins and outs of how to deliver a great project, deliver a great service, that sort of thing. They understand probably at this level, how to develop business, that sort of thing. So they go start their own firm. And the thing that I see that becomes problematic is ultimately being great at the service is absolutely necessary, but the second thing that's absolutely necessary is when your company grows beyond just you and a couple of other people, you have to get really interested in becoming a great leader as well. And this is the part that usually when people jump from having their own firm or working for another firm to having their own firm, like that's not usually the top of their list. Usually the top of their list is let's find business, right? Makes sense. Let's get the revenue going. Let's get things stable. Let's add employees. Let's train the employees, right? Let's, you know, have recurring revenue through having our clients come back to us and that sort of thing. And that's all absolutely important. But a lot of time leadership, like great leadership, gets overlooked. And then what happens is that, like, a lot of times when clients come to me, it's sort of when, they think they have a problem with, like, they're not hiring the right staff, or they don't know how to train them, or people don't listen to them, or, they all decide something in a meeting and then that's not done. Like, these are kind of some of the symptoms that people come to me with. But sorry, it's always an animal zoo here. But what really happens, in my estimation, for probably 90% of the people that come to me is that that there's a lack of really great leadership. And people kind of, honestly, the business owners might feel a bit ashamed about that. Honestly, they don't think that's their problem, but a lot of times it is the main problem, and we can solve turning this incredible, um yeah, like, again, engineer, architect, commercial real estate agent, whatever, when we can turn that person into and develop that person into a great leader, then across the board, there are so many problems that get solved. But again, people aren't typically looking to solve, not necessarily leadership problems, right? They're really looking to solve the things of, like, why can't we execute in our vision? I know we can, I know we're capable of more revenue than this. Why can't we get it? Oh, some of our clients are upset with us. Why can't we satisfy all of our clients? And so there are all these different pieces that come out of, um, what I will call, and this is not a criticism, but like just weak leadership. Okay. And and we can, again, solve so many problems when we decide to develop ourselves as leaders. Okay. So one of the things that's just been on my mind, because it's come across my radar screen several times lately, is this dilemma. And this always used to happen to me actually when I was back in my corporate career too. So this dilemma of sitting in a meeting, probably a lot of people who are watching this could relate to this. Sitting in a meeting of, whatever, 6, 8, 10 people, and deciding something, as a group, right? And everybody says, yes, I get it. I get it. Yes, we're going to do it. And then you'll set a date of, like, okay, everybody's going to do their part by next Monday at 10 o'clock, and we'll meet again, right? And everybody says, yes, that's what we'll do. And then people come back together on Monday, and this phenomenon is many people haven't done the thing. They might have gone and done something completely different. They might have not done anything at all. They may have enrolled other people in not doing their part. Like, there can be all kinds of things, but this phenomenon is big. And so, like, what is that? Is it that you have people that aren't engaged? Possibly. But again, remember, as the leader, we're the ones that have employed these people. We chose them to be on the team. Buck always up for the leader. Is it that they didn't understand? Possibly. Possibly. Is it they've gone outside the room and there have been a lot of sidebar conversations, like making these little micro decisions that are not in line with what was decided? Yeah, that happens too. But all of this, again, is, it's a symptom of, again, not in judgment, it's weak leadership. And the thing is, when you've started your own company and, created your reputation, and again, many created their great reputation starting their own company, building their own team, like all that, like, it's like there's so much that's amazing about that. As my cat walks on my head here, there's so much amazing about that. And the jump to next level leadership isn't like, it's not that hard. It's actually simple, not necessarily easy, but I'm not going to call it hard either. It's very simple, but you sort of have to know where to look to get better as a leader. Okay. And that's a piece that people a lot of times overlook. And here's just one piece. I'm going to share just one piece here. And then I'll wrap up. But like, this one little piece that I'm about to share is one that when the people I work with, when my clients get this and click it into place, it changes so many things. And that is, are you connected to your staff? These people you've hired, are you actually in connection with them? I don't mean, are you talking every day or talking when you need to talk, right? I don't mean that. I mean, are you actually in connected communication? Are you hearing one another? Are they hearing you? Are you hearing them? As the leader, this is one of the biggest things. A lot of leaders think, oh, I just need to tell. It's out, it's outward energy. I just need to tell people, what needs to be done. And that is one of the things you need to do. But when things aren't going well, what I find in organizations is there's a lack of like really connected listening on behalf of the leader, on the leader's part, right? And again, just people miss that because we think as leaders we have to yeah, like just keep things going, and we do for sure, right? If we don't start the ball rolling, it's probably not going to get going. But there's this piece of really connecting to your staff. I don't mean having them tell their deep dark secrets and yours. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like this, you know, it, again, this is not something that's talked about a lot to me in corporate America, but like this heart to heart connection that like from as a human being, you care about this person, you care about the development, you care about where they're going, you care about what they're contributing, right? And like listening from that space, even as I talk about it here, like I'm activated in a way. Like I just got really much more opening to listening myself just by talking about this, right? And so this is a place, again, it's missed. I don't know that I have ever walked into a company and this has been in place, to be honest. But it's something that's there's simplicity in fixing it, but it takes kind of getting rid of some old habits, being able to expand ourselves as leaders and like get that like and admit on some we don't know it all. That's one of the hardest things I think for leaders in small companies is just admitting we don't have everything down perfectly yet, right? And that's okay. That means we've got room to expand, which is fantastic, but we don't have to know it all, but we have to be able to admit like I don't know it all, I don't have this perfect, right? And so oh, I see I have a comment here from Donna Kirk, hello. So important for leaders to ask for, listen to, and truly consider input from the people doing the job. Absolutely. Like what I see is so many times again in small companies, and that's where my expertise is. Hey Kim, so good to see you here. My expertise is really in small companies. It's that again, it's this transition from being someone who's built a professional career, doing whatever it is you started a company to do, and then just feeling like you have to keep doing it, you have to keep doing it. Like that's actually a whole different live. I'll actually handle that on a different live, but it keeps you from really connecting and truly listening to the people within the organization. And that's where your goal is eventually. Like that's where true like quantum leap expansion is within companies, is that deep listening to the clients too, by the way. This is another place. I mean, this whole connecting and listening has to do with really everything within the business, your employees, any other principals in your company that you've hired and promoted, your clients in particular. I see a lot of firms who when there's an issue with a client, like not a day-to-day issue but like kind of an ongoing riff, let's say, I see a lot of like principles of companies, like the leader not wanting to have um, an exploratory, curiosity, deep conversation with the client, right? And then it leaves this bad taste in the mouth, and what could be an ongoing, incredible relationship, if you can learn to have those kind of conversations, it gets ended, and the client goes away and thinks, well, that was a bad experience. I'll never do that again, right? Or it leaves a bad taste in their mouth. And you know how people are. They'll just the same as in like public facing businesses like my ice cream business. Someone has a bad experience, even with a professional services firm, they're going to tell the people. So this piece of like listening and being able to have a connected, deep curiosity conversation, being able to emotionally handle when someone gives you feedback that you don't love, right? That's less than stellar. But this is one of the things, like we have to be able to do this. And this is where, for anyone listening to this broadcast who is leading a company and you feel like, ooh, that's maybe, gosh, that you might be talking to me. The great news is we can develop this in people. And I help people with that. I'd be happy to have a chat with you about that. But it's you can definitely develop yourself beyond that. But it's hard to develop beyond our own habits, beyond our own way we see our business without an outside perspective. Um, but it's absolutely doable, and that's what I really wanted to come with this morning is this piece of really developing ourselves. You've taken the jump, you've built a business, you might have been in your business 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I have one business that's 30 years old that I help still, and you can make a complete jump into the next realm. It is absolutely possible, and this way of developing yourself is absolutely the way. So, if you're watching this in the future, definitely let me know you were here. Let me know any questions or comments you have. Love being with you all here this morning, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.